10 techniques that pros use that you don't know about in Fortnite. Jumping from a flying bus to fight 99 other people can feel pretty stressful. Here's how the pros make their way to Victory Royale. By Joshua Staskis, published January 25th, 2019. Trying to win a game of Fortnite Battle Royale may appear to be a daunting task at first. You are just one, or groups up to 4, in a pool of potentially 100 players, and you have to find a way to be the last one standing. But when you learn the basics of the game, it really isn't that difficult to get to be one of the last 10 or so remaining. From there, it could be anyone's game, all depending on the preparation leading up to it. The real magic of Fortnite is that with so many players, you know everyone won't be complete pros at the game. You'll have skilled experts who know everything about the game and what it takes to earn a victory royale. At the same time, you'll see people aimlessly wandering around swinging their pickaxe because they somehow couldn't find a weapon. Fortnite is a game that can change drastically with the start of a new season. But despite all that can happen in a season's change, there are still basic fundamentals that will separate the pros from the noobs. In a super popular game that can be quite enjoyable, you'll encounter your share of inexperienced kids that can easily water down your experience. Don't fall into the category of noobish kids. Here, we will go through things that pros do to get a victory royale, and things that noobs will do that they only think will help them win in Fortnite. Number 1. Tweak your settings. Before you even start matchmaking, there are various settings you can change to make things easier for yourself. Under Game, set Sprint Cancels Reloading to On, so you can take evasive action faster. Auto-sort consumables to right to On to help with inventory management. And Turbo Building to On, so you can quickly throw up structures without having to repeatedly press buttons. Under Controller Options, set Controller Auto Run to On, so you can double-click the left stick to automatically keep running forwards, while doing other things such as checking the map. Finally, under Wireless Controller, set your build controls to the Builder Pro configuration, as this will let you select different building pieces and construct them on the fly. Number 2. Get the right start. You'll see plenty of named locations on the map, and although these places tend to have the most loot, they're also where a majority of players will initially head. Unless you want to immediately get into a scrap, consider a landing spot a decent distance away from the battle bus route, and somewhere not too built up. But always be on the lookout around you when gliding and be prepared to change destination if you spot other players aiming at the same area. Remember that your glider opens automatically once you drop to a certain height above ground, so aim for the lowest spot to avoid gliding prematurely. Number 3. Pick the best gear. Weapons are the most important items you'll get your hands on, as without them you won't be able to inflict much damage and defeat the opponents standing between you and a victory royale. Items are color-coded to quickly identify their rarity as follows: Common, Gray; Uncommon, Green; Rare, Blue; Epic, Purple; Legendary, Orange; Mythic, Gold, only occasional items. Rarer weapons deal more damage, so if you see the same weapon in a rarer color, then it's always worth the swap. When building your arsenal during a match, you should try to ensure you have at least a ranged weapon such as an assault rifle or bow, a close quarters weapon like an SMG or shotgun, and ideally something explosive so you have all your bases covered when it comes to taking on any enemies you encounter. Number 4. Stay in cover. You should never run straight across open areas unless you absolutely have to, as that's the easiest way to get spotted by an opponent, who can either open fire on you or follow you and set a trap while you're unaware of the presence. Instead, hug the outside of buildings or move through trees to maintain as much cover as possible. Hiding inside large bushes allows you to stay hidden while still being able to look around for threats, and even crouching inside small bushes can mask your appearance from all but the most eagle-eyed of opponents scanning in your direction. Number 5. Don't always go on the offensive. If you see an enemy, you don't need to rush and engage with them in combat immediately. Taking pot shots from a distance will only alert them to your location, so unless you're a great shot with a ranged weapon, you should try to get close before attacking, ideally from behind to catch them off guard. If you see other players fighting, then leave them to wear each other down, and once one has been eliminated, you can quickly move in to launch an attack on the other before they've had a chance to heal and renew their shields. Number 6. Know when to quit. After a particularly early exit from a match, you may be tempted to just quit and never come back to the game. Don't ignore your instincts. If you don't really care about Fortnite all that much, I fully encourage you to find something else to occupy your time. There's no sense in continuing to play a game you don't enjoy just because it's popular. Read a book instead, or go outside and exercise. Fitness trackers can recognize all sorts of physical activities, including biking, running, swimming, and walking. Although it's important not to get unhealthily obsessed, you should also check out devices that encourage competition with friends. For those who remain steadfast in their goals to obtain a Fortnite victory, the only way to improve your chances is to play consistently. The more matches you join, the more likely you are to develop a coherent strategy and outrank opponents. After all, as the game matures and the growth of the player base slows, the players you encounter will also likely improve over time. Still, even hundreds of hours of playtime, incredible luck, and a battle-tested strategy doesn't guarantee a victory. You may need to spend significantly more time than you originally anticipated with the game, waiting for the perfect opportunity. If playing Fortnite ever becomes tedious, take a break. Unless you plan to play video games professionally or compete at some level, games should be a source of entertainment, not a daily commitment. Number 7. Cover your tracks. Finding open doors is a surefire way to know that another player has already passed through an area and may still be nearby, so make sure you close any entrances behind you to not give away your position. If you're planning on camping in an area, it can also help to destroy any nearby structures built before hiding, so enemies arriving afterwards aren't on alert. Also, when harvesting wood from tall trees, it's worth not dealing the final blow, as otherwise opponents can spot the trees disappearing from a distance and start paying attention to your activities. Number 8. Always try to get the upper ground in a fight. When things start to get sticky and you find yourself in a gunfight with one of the 100 people running around the map, you want to be as high as possible. No, not in that way. Make sure you are above your opponent either by building ramps up into the sky or by jumping repeatedly, which has the added bonus of making you harder to hit. A good strategy is to build 4 walls around yourself in a square, then build a ramp up to the wall facing your enemy. This will provide you with a good sniping platform that you can retreat down when you're reloading. Just repeat the building formula upwards. Jump to build below your feet until you're in a makeshift tower and have the upper hand, and gun, grenade, and so forth. Number 9. Use sound to your advantage. As we've just outlined, sound is incredibly important in Fortnite, but you can use this to your advantage. By playing while wearing a decent headset or pair of headphones, you can pinpoint which direction gunfire or footsteps are coming from, allowing you to react more quickly and anticipate where the next threat is. If you'd prefer not to use a headset, then you can still add an extra layer of advantage by going to the audio settings menu and turning on the visualize sound effects option. This provides a visual radial indicator on your screen for the most important sounds, so you can instantly tell where they're emanating from and act accordingly. Number 10. Always be aware of the storm. The storm can be just as deadly to you as other players if you lose track of it, so make sure you're keeping an eye on where the next circle will form. The storm moves in slowly to begin with, but as each stage passes, it speeds up and the gap between phases shortens, so watch the timer and plan your next steps to keep up. If you're close to the edge, then you can use the storm to your benefit by keeping it just behind you, as it's unlikely that enemies will be emerging from it to attack you by surprise. Just don't leave yourself too far to travel when it starts contracting, or you may end up getting trapped inside it. Finally, we tackled the top 10 techniques that pros use that you don't know about in Fortnite, based on what we think is worthy to do. If you have more techniques to share with us, please share them in the comments below, and wait for our interesting topics coming soon.